Donald Trump's presidency started with a lie, this false narrative that he won some overwhelming victory, that it was a sweeping mandate, he was more popular than ever, and that just wasn't the case. Donald Trump was elected in theory to lower prices, something he was never going to do, so he was never going to be as popular as everyone on the right claimed, and that is borne out in new polling showing that Donald Trump is actually more unpopular than he has ever been, and worst of all from Trump, that polling is coming from the Fox propaganda outlet, and the Fox host who reported it, as you can imagine, did not enjoy doing so, and we are going to get into that disappointed reaction. But before we do, if I could quickly ask you to leave a like on this video, and if you haven't already and you enjoy our channel, to hit that subscribe button. It goes a long way, and it really does mean a lot to me. Now, before we get into what people inside the US think of Donald Trump, I want to hear what he thinks of those outside the United States who just can't stand him.
Tourism, there's been a steep drop-off in international travel to the United States. It was down 12% last month, down even more from Western Europe. Why do you think that there are fewer people suddenly who want to travel to the United States?
Well, there could be a little, there's a little nationalism there, I guess, perhaps. It's not a big deal, but, with the dollar being where it is, because, China would always fight for having a low dollar. Japan would always fight for having a low dollar, meaning a low yen, or in the case of China, the yuan. They'd always want to have, China would always, I'd speak to President Xi a lot, I'd say it's unfair that your yuan is so low. I'd call up a great man, Prime Minister Abe, great man, Shinzo, who was unfortunately assassinated. And I used to tell you, he was a good friend of mine, I used to say, Shinzo, you can't let your yen go down. It makes it very hard for us to sell tractors. It makes it very hard to us to get tourism. And our dollar is a little bit on the low side. And that means that a lot of tourism is going to come in. But I could see a little bit nationalism at work. And I can see it likewise with us, not wanting to go to certain countries. But that will work out very easily.
It would be funny if it wasn't so sad that the state that Donald Trump claims to be his home in Florida is the one most affected by this tremendous drop in tourism, and it's why I say that the economic disaster that Donald Trump has created is not solely just based on his economic policy. Republicans like to wrap up all the chaos around the Trump administration and label it as meme tweets that liberals freak out about, but know the chaos around Trump has a real hard measurable economic impact, and we're seeing it right here. And then the chaos around Trump is also borne out in Doge, which Tim Walz called out right here, that I want to take a look at before we get into these Fox numbers.
It was not written to please everyone. It was written to bring everyone to the table. And when we get there, we're going to have disagreements, no doubt. My progressive friends might have wished we were cutting a little less. My conservative friends might wish we were cutting a little bit more. My wife wishes that I would take the pay raise that was offered, but I turn it down. But this is how government's supposed to work. It's not supposed to be one old man sitting in the Oval Office sending out middle-of-the-night tweets that shot markets into freefall. It's not supposed to be a bunch of 20-somethings unelected showing up at federal agencies and firing everyone. It's not supposed to be chaos and destruction. It's supposed to be good people elected by their neighbors with differing opinions coming together to negotiate in good faith.
The chaos that people said was acceptable because Donald Trump would create a great economy, a complete lie. He didn't in his first administration, remember, when he crashed it. Yeah, that chaos is now once again crashing the economy and destroying our government. The chaos is bad. It's not something we deal with. It's something that's dealt a blow to our economy. And it's the reason Donald Trump's polls are just so bad, and Fox is so sad to report it.
Fox News poll at 100 days job approval compared to other presidents. There you see the president at 44%. And you see his first term at 45% at this mark, the 100-day mark. We have other new polls that are revealing some concerns about the economy. Let's talk about that, the politics and these polls. Fox News chief political analyst Brit Hume joins me. Brit, you've looked at these. What strikes you?
Well, a couple things. There's a list of issues that we asked people what they felt about. And the president is underwater in all but one, and that one is the border, where he's got high approval on that, majority approval. He's above water. Everything else, including immigration, which for some reason was separated from the border in this particular poll, he's a little bit underwater on immigration. He's way down on, right at the moment, on the economy, and even way down further on tariffs, which are, of course, part of that. So, you know, foreign policy rating isn't good, and so on. My thought about this is not really unexpected in my view, Brett. His overall approval rating, as you noted earlier, is 44%. So much of what he's undertaken remains a work in progress. And, you know, they haven't got any trade deals yet.
It is clear that Donald Trump has never been less popular. The one promise he claimed he was going to fulfill: lower prices for rent, groceries, gas. Yeah, we've seen the opposite, and it's only going to get worse. The real effects of Donald Trump's tariffs haven't even set in, but in some ways they have. The higher prices that you started paying in January, that was because of the expectation of tariffs, and you think when Donald Trump eventually caves, they're going away just because corporations won't be as impacted. No, they have you paying them now. They will continue to have you pay them. It only gets worse from here no matter what Donald Trump does, and that is why the polling around tariffs is just as bad, and Fox continued to talk about it.
For example, the president's numbers are upside down to where they were, and they've taken a drop, as you see there, 38% in approve on the economy, an issue that in the election, obviously, he's succeeded at.
Yeah, I think the American people, to what you were saying earlier, you know, don't like volatility. They want to be able to walk into their Target, to their Walmart, and know that they can purchase a TV at a low cost, a low price. And, you know, these tariffs are a tax on the American people. And I think while it is fair that, you know, the Trump administration has said, you know, the United States has not been treated fairly in some of these trade deals, there's a way to do it. There's a precision to it. And you're just seeing this, you know, kind of cut and slash chainsaw approach, you know, with Elon Musk. And at the end of the day, the American people are reacting to that, and the markets are reacting to that.
Roger?
Well, you're not going to hear from the American people they want strategic decoupling. That's not language that you're outside the Beltway. But I think, actually, that's what they want. I mean, you could wrap your head around sort of tariffs of things that put American national security at risk. But the things you get from Walmart, those TVs and other items, well, perhaps we don't need to have the tariffs at that level. I think if President Trump was inking trade deals with other countries, it would have sort of an effect where it put pressure on China. But at the moment, he's not getting that. And as a result, it's kind of this dance, who's going to call who first. He hasn't spoken to Xi since he entered office. And he wants that call. And I'm not sure it's going to happen.
Yeah, and let's just say it's not easy putting these trade deals together. They're very complex. It's like three-dimensional chess. I mean, you move one thing and something else has to move. So it could take a while.
It could take a while, and in the meantime, there is uncertainty, and that has a cost in and of itself, right? Because I think there's merit to some of these ideas of, okay, we're going to go 0 for 0, and we're going to have fairer trade with various countries. But he put this on his own plate, and it does need to move quickly to give people the sense that there are deals coming together and that they are looking good for consumers, because they will start to feel these price problems in their store.